Yo, 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 yo! What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there, Mrs. Weedman?
Mr. Weedman?
How the hell are you?
Sick as a dog.
You are sick. No COVID.
No.
Not COVID. Just a cold.
No.
No? Bronchial?
Respiratory
infection. You get those. You haven't had it in a couple of years.
It's been a minute.
But you do get them at least once every...
Yeah.
You used to get it once a year.
Yeah, and then COVID hit, so you don't go anywhere.
Right.
And guess what? Now we go places again. Here I am.
So Mrs. Weedman's not going to smoke today. She took an edible, and she's already baked.
Yeah, I'm very much so.
So I'm going to smoke while she's talking about her first article. She's going to go first today. But we got some news.
Yeah, we do.
We got some awesome news.
Super excited.
Yes, very exciting news. We haven't had a doggy in this house since 2016.
Yeah.
Since 2016. And we've been patient. We want to take a break for a little bit. Trust me, we missed having our doggos. We had two. They both passed away. One lived to be 17 and one lived to be 16. Ripe old ages for doggies. And we've been looking for the last, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a quick process.
No,
it was just kind of like, yes, we're ready
quick.
to do it.
Yes, we've been talking about it
for about a year.
For about a year. But we didn't jump the gun. We really thought about it. And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we started looking and we were kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready. That was me. You, I think, were ready. I was kind of like, because work's been busy, and I was kind of like, I don't know. And then we started looking again. I started seeing pictures, and we started going through the different breeds and started looking at different stuff. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. And then you found the breed.
Yeah.
You found a doggy for us. But actually, I think she found us.
She found us. She's a silky little black beauty. She's so cute.
Little German Shepherd. So cute. We're going to call it, and you're the first, everyone to know in the world, you're the first people to know we're going to name it. We haven't told anybody yet.
Say it, Mr. Weedman.
Yuki.
Yuki.
Means good fortune.
Oh my God, she's so cute. She looks like Yuki.
Yuki. Y-U-K-I.
Yeah, she was one of 10 puppies.
Yep.
And when we got to meet her, there were still 7.
Yep, and 6 weeks old.
Yeah, 2 boys and 5 girls.
Yep.
And she was all over us.
Oh,
each dog had a different color collar on, and every time you looked down in your lap, it was her with her red collar.
It was Yuki.
Yuki. So she picked us.
She did pick us.
Yeah.
She was all over us. Oh, I have a great picture of her, and I'm so excited to have a dog. A big dog, because I've always been screwed of getting little dogs. And
a Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
He was all of 5 pounds.
A Puggle, which I loved our Puggle. But still a small dog. Growing up as a kid, I had a little Yorkie Terrier. Wasn't mine. My dad only liked punting dogs. Not hunting dogs, punting dogs. I had a collie, a little miniature collie. So not a big dog again. So I've never had the dog that I got to personally choose. So fucking excited.
She's so cute.
She looks like a cross between a little wolf and a bear, and just gosh,
I can't wait to have a dog to lay on the couch with.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Snuggles.
So exciting. So we're gonna post lots of pictures. I didn't give her a weed name. She is a weed dog. I didn't give her a weed name. I did want to name her Kush, and Mrs. Weedman's like, no Kush. Even though it is our favorite strain. But Yuki, good fortune. We'll be picking her up in a couple weeks. We're so excited. She's only 6 weeks old, and I'm so excited, Mrs. Weedman.
So am I.
So everybody out in the world, you're the first to know, and you're the first to know her name. So wish us well and wish us luck. We'll put lots of pictures of her on our social media handles. You'll be seeing her and growing up with her. Mrs. Weedman's going to take it away and start the show.
Yeah.
Tell us how to clean all of the glass. Well, let me tell a story real quick.
Okay.
About dirty bongs and dirty bowls and dirty pipes. And our daughter went to college up at University of Wisconsin-Madison. She had 4 roommates. They like to smoke bong rips. Not my daughter, 2 of her roommates. But how they smoke their bong is someone told me the name of it and I forgot what it was called. But anyway, 60% tobacco, 40% cannabis. It's not a spliff because it's not rolled in a joint. I forgot. Someone told me the name and I forgot. But we'd go up and visit Old Dog. Probably maybe in her 2.5 years up there. Probably been in her, probably the last year there. Her roommates and stuff, her new roommates, probably went up there 5 or 6 times. And every time I went there, the bong was dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And I used to make fun of them all the time. Like, will you fucking clean your bong? Do you even empty the water out? And they would laugh at me. I'm like, this thing looks like you took tar off the street and you just put it in there. It's gross. Do you want to rip? No, I don't want to touch that thing. It's gross. They're like, you don't understand how dirty it gets because of the tobacco. I said, I get it, but clean it. It's not that hard. And I used to make fun of them all the time. I think I took a picture and posted it one time too. I'm like, this is the dirtiest bong. Fucking gross. Okay, and I'm not. Hey, listen. To each his own. If you like a dirty bong and you don't like to taste the ash and the dirt, that's up to you. But Mrs. Weedman here, I'm gonna smoke, and she's gonna teach you how to clean.
And I apologize for my heavy mouth breathing. I'm a little congested. She does have a cold. Yeah. So I'm a mouth breather. What is that from? Stranger Things?
Yes.
Mouth breather. But that meant you were dumb, right? Mouth breathers? I don't know. Or was it humans were mouth breathers? Or
something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm a mouth breather right now. And this is all about cleaning your glass bong, pipe, or dab rig. Having a bong has a lot of benefits over other smoking methods like joints, blunts, and dry pipes, but it does come with a bit of baggage. You have to clean it. It's not just an optional thing that you can do. It's a must for various reasons. Why should you clean your bong? If you understand why you should regularly perform maintenance on your car, then it should be easy to understand why you should clean your bong. Just like a car has many moving parts that will eventually need to be cleaned or even replaced, the same is true with your favorite glass bongs. Glass bongs are great smoking tools because their primary feature is the ability to filter the smoke and cool it down or keep it warm and moist. Let's face it though, bongs get dirty fast. All the stuff that used to end up in your lungs while taking a hit is now caught in the water at the bottom of the bong and stuck to the sides of the glass interior. When you smoke from a pipe, resin from the cannabis clings to the inside of the tube. Over time, the resin builds up into a tarry varnish that will change the flavor and quality of your smoke. Take it from us, smoking resin is not the optimal experience. Any cannabis product you use, from concentrate to freshly dried flower, will contain oil that produces resin when it's burned. For the best flavor and cleanest burn, you want a clean pipe. There are a few benefits to using a clean bong, and not all of them are obvious. Bong water filters better. The water also filters better when it's clean. There's also so much trash bong water can filter. There's only so much trash bong water can filter out. And after each use, the amount that the filter degrades, oh my Lord, I can't even read right now.
Pretty stoned,
Hold on. Yeah, I got to go back to that. Bong water filters better. So they're saying when it's clean, it filters better. But there's only so much that it can actually remove from the cannabis. So yeah, keep it clean. Boy, this is going to be tough. A dirty bong will make you sick. Another benefit of having a clean bong is that you avoid the risk of respiratory infections. Hey, mine is not from a dirty bong because I don't smoke out of bongs. But you could get a respiratory infection, and trust me, it's not fun. When you risk getting one when you use a dirty pipe. Mold loves to grow in damp locations, so you don't want to store your bong full of water. It should always be stored empty. You should also be aware that not all mold is green. Some molds are black, white, gray, and even pink. When you use a dirty bong, you may be inhaling mold spores, and that could land you in a hospital. We're going to be talking
about mold probably in the next episode too.
Yeah.
Cannabis too. So listen to Mrs. Weedman on this.
Yeah. Yeah. You should clean your bong after a session that's shared with others. When you share your bong with other people, you run the risk of getting sick if they're sick. If you're willing to risk that, fine. But clean your piece immediately after you're done so you don't expose yourself to whatever they had more than once. After 24 hours or so, biofilm will start to build up on the inside of your bong. It's nasty and it's bad for your lungs. This is why you don't store your bong with water in it. I never heard of biofilm.
Oh, yeah, I have. Ooh. You know, our birds, they drink out of their little water dish.
Yeah.
That's biofilm that I'm always cleaning off the sides of the water dish.
I thought it was just minerals from the water.
Biofilm.
Ew. Yuck. A clean bowl will produce a smoother hit. The most obvious benefit of a clean bong is that your hits taste better because they're not being contaminated with the stench of old weed, old water, and old resin buildup. The more complex the air path from the bowl to your mouth, the more resin and ash your bong is going to collect, and the harder it's going to be to clean. But don't worry, done correctly and often, your bong can look and feel like a brand new piece every single time you use it. Another benefit is that you'll get higher. Your smoke will be smoother, so you'll take more hits than you would if it was nasty. You'd rather taste the fresh sour diesel you just picked up over your old stuff from last week, right? A dirty bong smells horrible. If you're wanting,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells like a dirty ashtray.
Gross. If you're wanting to be at least somewhat discreet about your cannabis usage, keeping a dirty bong around isn't going to help you. The smell is unmistakable to anyone who's ever smelled it. There's always the risk of it spilling. The last thing you want to do, especially if you're not in a legal state, and definitely if you're renting a place, is spill nasty bong water onto your couch or carpet. It's hard to clean up because the stain is ugly and the smell tends to linger. Yuck. Your glass can look amazing. And why would you want to spend $200 on a bong and then let nasty water sit in it? Your piece takes care of you, so you should take care of your piece.
Damn, that's a great line.
Well, how often should you clean your bong? Well, that varies. If you only smoke every once in a while, it's probably fine to only clean it every once in a while. But if you're a heavy smoker, either for recreational or medical reasons, you're going to want to clean it at least once a week, and sometimes once every day, depending on how much cannabis you're going through. Don't underestimate how fast your bong can get dirty. The more often you change the water and do a light cleaning, the less often you'll need to do a deep cleaning. If you reach the point where your bong needs to be deep cleaned because of too much resin buildup, you're going to have to let the bong soak in cleaning solution to get it completely back to new condition.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Would you eat off a dirty dish?
No.
That's been sitting like on the counter for like a week?
No.
All right.
Pretty simple.
Enough said.
So when should I clean my bong? Well, when it needs it. The obvious answer is that. But to know when it needs it, you need to know the signs. So here's a list of dirty bong symptoms. There's a buildup of resin on the glass, and it'll start off like a amber color, and it'll just turn to ultimately black if you let it go long enough. The water in the bong isn't clear anymore, and it stinks. So it looks like if somebody poured a glass of water in an ashtray.
Dirty fish bowl
it's
water.
Just gray. It's just gray and
Just like,
stinky.
like when you were a kid, you had a goldfish.
Slimy.
Like 6 goldfish in a little bowl or 2 or 3. And by
gross.
like 2 weeks, it's like just gray and swampy. That's what your
Like
bowl
that.
looks like. Your bong looks like.
There will be debris inside the chamber, and you'll get dark stains on the percolator if one is present. In other words, if your bong. Oh my God. In other words, if your bong doesn't look like the day,
your dong.
If your dong shiny and new, then it needs to be cleaned. Keep your dong clean, would you?
That's for another episode.
Yeah.
We'll tell you how to keep your dong clean.
Oh, wait, this isn't over yet. We got more. So what can I clean a bong with? All right, so now we've got all sorts of ways and experiences to clean a bong. Most sources online and our personal experiences say that cleaning your bong with isopropyl alcohol is the easiest method to use because it's typically the absolute cheapest. But since the rise of COVID-19 in the U.S. and the limited availability of isopropyl alcohol, other methods should be considered if you have easier access to them. Here are some things you might want to have to clean your bong with: cotton balls, Q-tips, a hand towel for drying, baggies for small glass pieces, straw cleaning brush, a bottle brush, and pipe cleaners. One type of accessory that you should have when you clean your bong is a set of correct size plugs for the holes in your bong. You should have one to plug the mouthpiece and one to plug the hole for the downstem. This is so you can fill the bong with cleaner and let it sit for a few hours or even overnight. With plugs, your bong will be much easier to clean. Cleaning a bong with isopropyl alcohol and kosher salt.
That's like old school.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, doing that like in the 90s, that's what I used.
This is an old and tried and true method to clean almost anything you use in the course of smoking cannabis. You want to use 91% isopropyl alcohol, not rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol isn't quite as potent. For the salt, you can use kosher or Epsom. The salt helps knock loose debris and resin from the sides of the glass interior. Just in case you have an acrylic bong, don't do this because it will dissolve any any adhesive holding the bong together and render it unusable. The pros of this process is that it's inexpensive and easy. The cons are that it's wasteful and not able to clean larger pieces without using a ton of alcohol. This can get expensive if you clean your piece often. You can clean your bong with baking soda and vinegar. It's a fantastic method because it takes a significant amount of cleaner to do it. Oh, it isn't a fantastic method. It gets messy. But if you don't have alcohol and you do have baking soda and vinegar, it'll do the job.
It's also, that's more organic.
It's not bad for your pipes and the environment. Yeah. Clean a bong with lemon juice. Not only can lemon juice be used for cleaning, but it can also be used as a preventative. When you use 5 to 10 drops of lemon juice in your bong water, it helps prevent resin from sticking to the glass. Like vinegar, lemon juice is an acid. You can use vinegar in your bong water to get the same effect, but trust us that vinegar doesn't taste as good as lemon juice.
Yeah, lemon juice.
Ugh, yeah. You can clean your bong with boiling water. This is a bit more risky. Your glass could shatter. There's a particular way to do it with the least amount of risk, and the instructions should be followed exactly. Pros are that that's a simple yet effective way to clean it. Boiling works excellent on lightly used pieces, accessories, and especially recyclers. The con is that you're dealing with nearly boiling hot water. You have to be very careful, and it may take multiple washes to clean the pipe, and it could even crack or break. Clean your bong with denture tablets.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah. Believe it or not, your grandma's denture tablets work well on small glass pieces like your bowl, down stems, as well as your ash catchers and similar accessories. The method is pretty simple. You can also use acetone. Acetone will definitely clean your bong, but beware. Most acetone sold on the market contains a bitterant in it that is designed to help stop people from using it to get high, otherwise known as huffing. When you use acetone in the form of nail polish remover, you'll want to rinse your bong out thoroughly. Yeah. If you don't, your next bong hit will taste nasty.
Be careful with that one.
Yeah. If you're going to buy acetone for bong cleaning purposes, you'll want to acquire it from a hardware store where it's sold as paint thinner. This is your best bet when it comes to cleaning with acetone. Getting it at a hardware store as paint thinner is also going to be cheaper than buying bottle after bottle of nail polish remover.
Yeah, let's not do that one at all.
Yeah, how about it? Solvent-based cleaners like acetone are a great way to get your piece back to new condition, but it will require some effort. It'll do the job on just about any level of dirty, even a gunked-up dab rig. But the chemicals don't smell great. They can dry out your skin, damage your other household surfaces, or certain materials like polycarbonate. Anything containing acetone will ruin a good manicure. Use it outdoors or in a well-ventilated area, and don't let it get on your skin. You can use dishwasher pods. It's an odd method that most people don't know about, but it makes sense and it works. You can clean your bong using an oven. You do the self-cleaning oven process, which I don't even trust the oven to survive that.
Yeah,
it heats up to 600 degrees.
This was a new one for me too.
I don't think I'd do that.
I wouldn't do that one either.
So you have to make sure you have tempered glass. It's 100% glass.
And most bongs,
still risky.
a lot of them aren't tempered.
Yeah. Risky. Now that your glass pipe, bong, or dab rig is spotless, remember to keep it somewhere clean when you're not using it. The next time you take a hit, give yourself a pat on the back and enjoy the experience. No longer will you have to worry about weird or funky tastes and smells from a dirty rig. You can enjoy a satisfying hit that will promise you a good time. What is that product that we use?
The 710.
And what is that?
Just basically
chemical
it's chemical. It's like alcohol with little little hard crystals in there and stuff. It's the same thing. It's pretty good. It works.
So
I use that on my pipe. I mean, I still salt and alcohol was the one thing I always use. Because you could use all that stuff that you mentioned. You could use that on your pipes. You could use that on your dab rigs too.
Right.
From what we were reading.
Yeah. Anything glass.
Yeah, anything glass. So not just only the bongs. This was for also pipes and for pipes, your bubblers, dab rigs,
glass bong,
dab
rig,
pipe. So that's just everything. We just said bong because it was.
I am so high. So I have to tell you, I'm eating a gummy and they're live resin, and they are my jam. Like they're really.
You've been hitting them a lot.
Yeah,
you like those.
That's my nighty night.
Yeah, you like those.
They're good.
I like them too.
Not nighty night in the sense that they make me tired, but I wouldn't maybe eat one in a social setting because I'm pretty high. But I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's versus distillate. I'll do the live resin all day, So, yeah, speaking of that, too, you think there's distillate gummies we've talked about live resin gummies on the show. There's a lot of live rosin gummies coming out in the market now. Here's my thing, and I like smoking rosin. But I think in a gummy, man, you better get that recipe done right because that is terpy as fucking all's hell. You're getting, just pressed.
Wait, do these have live resin or rosin?
No, those are live resin, the ones that you ate.
There's a difference between resin and rosin?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So I think rosin it's going to be very, very terpy. And I've seen some companies coming out with live rosin gummies. I haven't seen any in Illinois yet. West Coast a lot. I am very, very interested to see what those taste like. I don't mind the weedy taste or the terpy taste, but it better be tasting right for for the general consumer.
Rosin has a stronger taste than resin?
Oh, yeah, huge. Okay. Yeah, huge. Yeah. Yeah, even when you smoke a live resin versus a rosin, the rosin has more flavor, more terps, more just, it's just like goopy, So, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Can cannabis lower your BMI and fight inflammation? I used to be a personal trainer. Did it for 5 years until I got my car accident. So, and thank God for cannabis. The anti-inflammatory properties of cannabis have been recognized for many years. I've talked about BMI as a personal trainer a lot back when BMI was a thing. You don't hear about BMI as much as you used to. Remember, like back in like the mid 2000s, like 2006, 5 to like 2015, everybody talked about BMI index. What's your BMI index? I don't fucking know what my BMI index is. I know what my weight is. I know what my body fat is. So, but this made sense in this article. So scientists understood that the research pointed to compounds within the cannabis plant that helped humans and animals heal from disorders caused by inflammation. Inflammation is also linked to obesity. This is important because chronic inflammation is responsible for half of all the deaths worldwide. For these reasons, people are told by doctors that they should be losing weight for their health. It's much more than simply being obese or for aesthetic reasons. Obesity is linked to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and stroke. Meanwhile, systemic inflammation can cause other fatal diseases, including cardiovascular disease, autoimmune conditions, diabetes, and neurodegenerative disorders. But how exactly obesity triggers inflammation in the body is relatively uncertain, though it seems like it has to do with the immune response. Scientists know that more weight means that the body has more inflammation, and reducing weight also means less inflammation. Now, a new study of the United States reveals that our body mass index, BMI, actually plays a role in the anti-inflammatory effects of cannabis, which I thought was interesting. Because back when I was personal training, they talked about your BMI versus your, like, how healthy you were and how your weight was versus your muscles and stuff like that. So this makes a little bit more sense when I was reading this. What the research said. The research wanted to analyze the pathways that link systemic inflammation to cannabis use. They studied the experience of 712 youths, including their assigned sex at birth and gender. The subjects went through 6 biannual visits during which their substances use was analyzed. Their BMI was measured and plasma samples were taken during the final visit. BMI may partially account for the apparent anti-inflammatory effects of cannabis use, wrote the authors. They found that the co-varieties tested, with the exceptions of BMI, they found a greater cumulative cannabis use disorder identification test score. It was linked to a reduced presence of C-reactive protein, as reduced to interleukin-6. Both of these are known biomarkers of systemic inflammation. These associations were shown when BMI was added to the model. The authors wrote, this study suggested BMI may partially explain anti-inflammatory effects of cannabis. research on the mechanisms linking cannabis use, defined as severely or morbidly overweight, and inflammation may occur, uncover promising intervention targets, suggested the authors. Some other studies. While cannabis use has been associated with the notorious munchies, which I don't get, the science says otherwise. It seems that cannabis users tend to have lower body mass index, which means they are less likely to be obese or overweight, thus having less risk of an inflammatory disease. Munchies is in your mind. One study conducted by researchers from Michigan State University wanted to investigate if regular cannabis users are indeed prone to gaining more weight. The study, led by the assistant professor of family medicine at MSU, Omayima Al-Shirway, PhD, involved studying data from the National Epidemiological Survey on Alcohol and Related Conditions, NESARC. The NESARC included some 33,000 participants from the U.S. aged 18 and up who were tasked to complete interviews regarding their BMI and cannabis use from 2001 through 2005. At the end of the study, they found that 77% of the participants never consumed cannabis. 18% quit, 3 had only just started, while 2% were considered persistent users. The findings revealed that the cannabis users were likely to be overweight or obese. Over a 3-year period, all participants showed a weight increase, but interestingly, those who used cannabis had less of an increase compared to those that never used, reports the lead author. According to Al-Shirway, the findings were sorry, I probably butchered the fuck out of that name, but just me. The findings were surprising since cannabis is a known appetite stimulant. Our study builds on mounting evidence that this opposite effect occurs, she explained. Yes, there is some strains that don't make you hungry. They don't stimulate your appetite. There's also a cannabinoid too now called THCV that stops you from wanting to eat. So think about that. Additionally, lower BMI was discovered among persistent and new users. We found that users, even those who just started, were more likely to be at a normal, healthier weight and stay at the weight. Only 15% of persistent users were considered obese, compared to 20% of non-users, she adds. The findings also explain that through the BMI differences among non-users and users wasn't significant. It still is enough that the researchers found a pattern in the whole sample size. An average 2-pound difference doesn't seem like much, but we found it in more than 30,000 people with all different kinds of behaviors and still got this result, she said. However, we should take a note that the study was more observational and they don't infer casualty. It could be something that's more behavioral, like someone becoming more conscious of their food intake as they worry about munchies after cannabis use and gaining weight, she explained. Could be true. Or it could be cannabis itself, which can modify how certain cells or receptors respond in the body and can ultimately affect weight gain. More research needs to be done, they concluded. So here's the conclusion. Using cannabis as part of a healthy lifestyle and diet to bring your weight down is a great natural way to keep inflammation at bay. Stay away from inflammatory foods such as refined carbohydrates, fried food, sugar, and soda. It's kind of hard. I get it. Sometimes those are good things to eat. I understand. Just use it less often. Remember that obesity is treated medically just like any other condition because it leads to other chronic conditions. Ensure that you are getting regular exercise and eat more whole unprocessed foods. Additionally, getting enough sleep is an important way to reduce inflammation and keep the weight at healthy levels. If you're overweight and you'd like to use cannabis as part of your holistic approach, best speak to a cannabis-friendly physician to find out what products are best for you. So, pretty good stuff. I'm sure there's going to be more research done on this. And, it'll take time. As soon as the United States gets off their ass and makes this federally legal and gets itself to Schedule 1 where we can get more testing done, we'll find out more and how great this fucking wonderful plan is. All right. I was into beer for a very long time. I still like to drink beer. I don't study it anymore like I used to. I took I call it the Cicerone class. It's actually called the Cicerone class. I call it the Cicerone. So it's basically like a sommelier for wine. The Cicerone is like that for beer. There's now one called what, Mrs. Weedman?
Well, I'm debating. Is it called a Gon-gee-ay or a Ganjier?
I would say Ganjier.
Ganjier. That's what I thought too.
So,
well,
tell us how to become one.
Okay. How to become a Gonjier, the sommelier of cannabis. The legalization of cannabis has led to a seismic shift in the cannabis marketplace for millions of consumers in states with legal pot. Gone are the days of waiting on your guy, who, when finally available, was likely to have one or at most a few varieties of cannabis to choose from. Today, shoppers in states with liberalized cannabis laws can be overwhelmed by the options available, including dozens of strains of cannabis flower with a healthy selection of edibles, topicals, tinctures, and more thrown into the mix. The liaison between customer and cannabis in dispensaries is commonly referred to as bud tender, many of whom are top-notch connoisseurs able to guide their clients to just the right varietal or method of ingestion for the desired effect, medicinal or otherwise. But training and experience from one bud tender to the next can be spotty at best, leaving customers to wonder just how knowledgeable the person on the other side of the counter is. Now filling that gap in expertise is the Ganjier, a new certified cannabis professional trained to serve customers as the Sommelier of Cannabis. Ganjier training program was developed by a group of 18 professionals in the cannabis industry, including legacy growers, scientists, breeders, hash makers, and executives, all of them connoisseurs of the plant in their own right. Known as the Ganjier Council, the group of experts has designed a Ganjier curriculum and certification in partnership with cannabis education company Greenflower. Derek Gilman, managing director of the program, said that certified Gonjiers can serve a vital role in the quickly growing world of legal cannabis. While the wine industry has sommeliers, the cigar industry has catadors, the coffee industry has cuppers. Until the Ganjier program was launched, no such expert existed in cannabis. Gilman explains in his email. The Ganjier is equal parts cannabis aficionado and interpretive liaison, schooled in intricacies like taste, terpenes, and finish, serving as a conduit between cannabis and consumers, navigating its complexities and optimizing user experience. Let's go beyond indica and sativa. Early cannabis industry marketing and commonly held perceptions of cannabis and its varied qualities and effects focused on broad categories, including sativa, indica, and hybrids, groupings that are largely meaningless in today's marketplace, and its vast and mixed lineage of commercial varietals. Even less reliable is using the percentage of THC or other cannabinoids as the determining factor for selecting cannabis products. Instead, the Ganjier program teaches students to use their senses to assess the aroma, appearance, flavor, and effect of a particular sample of cannabis flower, including such nuanced characteristics as terroir, terpenes, terroir, terroir is the environment where a grape would be grown, like if you're talking about wine, right? And so the environment has an impact on the flavor. So terroir and terpenes are a class of aromatic and often therapeutic compounds. Once certified, the Ganjier is prepared to help consumers navigate the hundreds, if not thousands, of offerings at their local dispensary. A diverse and ever-expanding array of cannabis products and services are entering the marketplace today, says Gilman. While consumers eagerly explore more natural ways to enhance their lives, deal with ailments, and seek to elevate and refine their cannabis experience, the demand for those with deeper and more comprehensive knowledge of the plant, its nuances, innate qualities, and possibilities is becoming paramount. The initial level of certified Ganjier consists of 31 online lessons spread over 10 courses covering history, science, botany, genetics, cultivation, processing, assessment, service, sales, and consumption, plus an extra bonus extracurricular course covering the world of cannabis connoisseurship. The web-based training is followed by a 2-day in-person curriculum held in California's Humboldt County, the heart of the famous Emerald Triangle marijuana cultivation region. Students are taught the program's customer interaction protocol to help guide conversations with consumers to provide the highest level of service. The in-person coursework also incorporates extensive hands-on training in assessing the quality of cannabis flower and concentrates. The program includes a Ganjier education toolkit, including terpene palate training, a jeweler's loop for close inspections of cannabis flowers, and access to the program's systematic assessment protocol, a smartphone app that serves as a tool to accurately assess cannabis flower and concentrates. Certification is achieved with the accumulation of in-person training and successful completion of a final examination. In the end, the Ganjier is a trained and certified master of cannabis service who can expertly guide any consumer to the ideal products and experiences right for them. Ganjiers learn how each and every decision that the cultivator makes, from genetics to curing, affect the end quality of the cannabis flower, notes Gilman. Our program also covers the concept of terroir, its role in the genetic expression of plant, and how that affects the flavor and potency of the end product. Gilman said that last year's inaugural Certified Gonjier class filled within weeks of registration opening, with graduates finishing the curriculum and receiving their certifications last fall. Registration is currently open and nearly half full for the 2022 class, with seats filled on a first-come, first-served basis. The Certified Ganjier curriculum costs $2,997, and the Advanced and Executive Ganjier programs will be introduced at a later date.
You're talking double.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
expensive.
Neat. Well, $3,000.
Yeah.
It's an education. It provides a skill for,
yeah.
a
it does.
level up job. I think it's not bad.
It's expensive. 1,500.
That's like
hundo.
That's like a semester in a community college. That would be about the same.
No.
Like $300 a credit hour. And they've got 13 classes.
Yeah, I guess.
I think it's fair.
I don't.
Okay.
I think it's a good program, but I think it should be a little bit less. Help people. Some political news going on out there in the world. The Delaware House of Representatives rejected a marijuana legalization bill. Delaware. I'm so fucking pissed when I read that. A majority of members supported the legalization, but it did not reach the 3 to 5 supermajority threshold needed to pass. Bummer, Delaware. Boo. Boo. The Kentucky, though, House committee approved the bill to legalize medical cannabis. Now it has to go to the Senate. Let's go, Kentucky. Louisville, here I come. New York Cannabis Control Board advanced proposed regulations giving people with cannabis convictions the first shot at dispensary licenses ahead of current medical cannabis businesses. We've talked about this. Great for them. It's great. Awesome. Washington state activists filed a proposed ballot measure that would legalize facilitated psilocybin sessions. The St. Louis, Missouri County Council approved the measure to ban pre-employment and random cannabis testing for most county workers. Hell yeah. The U.S. Sentencing Commission published a report on compassionate release from federal prisons. What else? North Carolina Democratic congressional candidate Charles Graham tweeted, in North Carolina, any adult can go into a CBD store and purchase Delta 8, a substance that closely mimics the effects of cannabis. At the same time, folks are sitting in jail cells, separated from their families for possessing cannabis. It's unfair and frankly stupid. Let them out. Yes, and also, besides letting them out, pass legislation for medical and recreational and let people homegrown free the plant in North Carolina. Tell you that. Not just let them out. Free it. Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp's leadership committee received $50,000 contribution from CEO of one of only 6 companies to win a medical cannabis license in the state. Abu. Attorneys for men on trial for conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer blamed the scheme on cannabis use and stoned crazy talk. That's just asinine. South Dakota lawmaker Senator Governor Kristi Noem, a bill is set to limits on medical cannabis home cultivation. Man, fucking South Dakota. Here's the West Virginia Senate advanced a bill on security and surveillance requirements for medical cannabis businesses. Louisiana lawmakers have filed several bills aimed at expanding medical cannabis access. California regulators are moving to readopt emergency rules consolidating cannabis regulations. Illinois regulators issued a policy statement blocking cannabis businesses from producing Delta 8 or Delta 9 THC from hemp oil. Boo. New York regulators are holding training sessions for people who want to become certified hemp sampling agents. That's kind of cool. Let's see what else. Congressional Democrats hosted a closed press panel on equity in the cannabis industry. Their retreat in Philadelphia last week. That was weird. So I read some more about that, just trying to figure out how they can pass these laws. It's just instead of building it together, just separation. It's driving me crazy. Some more Georgia lawmakers filed to create a House study committee on alternative post-traumatic stress disorder treatment resources for veterans that would be tasked with examining the therapeutic potential of psilocybin and other psychedelics. So you're willing to do that, Georgia, but you're not even passing it recreational for cannabis, man. So bad. Ugh, it's just terrible. Oregon Governor Katie Brown signed a bill allowing regulators to reuse to issue hemp cultivation license based on supply and demand. Texas Democratic gubernatorial candidate Beto O'Rourke, a former congressman, spoke about his support for legalized cannabis. He also said the Republicans like to get high just as much as Democrats. Virginia lawmakers sent Governor Glenn Youngkin to enact restrictions on Delta-8 THC products. Oh, my God. An Illinois judge warned regulators against forum shopping in a lawsuit challenging their cannabis businesses award process. Indiana regulators filed updated hemp rules. Colorado regulators issued a health and safety advisory about potential unsafe levels of yeast and mold contamination in cannabis products produced by LiveWell. Separately, regulators began accepting applications for the new cannabis business pilot grant program. Michigan's top cannabis regulator says he spoke to the Drug Enforcement Administration about getting permission for colleges to utilize cannabis as part of the cannabis degree programs. Yeah. Illinois judge steps towards allowing regulators to award 60 craft grower licenses. That's great. Okay, I think it's awesome. The whole thing is, though, is everything's still being held up. Here's the thing. You add 60 more grow licenses. There's only 110 dispensaries in Illinois. There's not enough room. They need to get those 185 dispo licenses out of probate, out of a litigation, and get them to start opening up. So these craft growers have places to sell. The 110, I mean, it's just not going to be enough room for all. It's going to be fucked up for a while, everybody here in Illinois, until they get each business operating in tune. They get everything set. They get the 185 licenses going. They're going to need about 250. So, and I will tell you this, once those other states around Illinois start opening up, I don't know when, all this new business it's going to be oversaturated, not enough people. It's going to be fucked up. So they're just wasting a bunch of time. And a lot of people are going to spend a ton of money on this already, millions of dollars trying to get their licenses and still stuck. People are going to go bankrupt before they even get a chance to open up their doors or sell their licenses and try to recoup some money back. It's just crazy. So, and also Illinois is pitching simplified approach to remove cannabis retail equity barriers by only charging a $250 fee. That's great, but you still, it's just still stuck in fucking litigation. So, moving on. New Jersey, place I was born, prepare to launch and be a $2 billion recreational cannabis market. Good for you, Jersey. Tennessee has some proposals on the board about getting some cannabis legalization going. Pretty good for you, Tennessee. We'll keep an eye on that, and hopefully you do. I guess some Democrats are involved. Some Republicans are pushing for the proposal of their own. Come together on this. Don't fight each other. Do it right. Do it for the cannabis community in Tennessee. Kansas senators hold the first of 3 medical cannabis legalization hearings in a committee. Good for you, Kansas. Dorothy and Toto want to smoke their weed too, you know. Federal cannabis cases continue to decline with fewer than 1,000 cannabis charges in 2021. It's still too many. I mean, nonviolent cannabis crimes, there shouldn't even be 1,000 people being arrested. So for cannabis trafficking cases, unless they're doing like they shot somebody, murdered somebody, I understand that aspect of it. But man, if it's just a couple pounds of weed, fine them and send them on their way. A senator who previously opposed cannabis legalization says he was wrong about it and increased the use. This was Senator John Hickenlooper, Democrat Colorado, served as governor of Colorado in 2012, and he unsuccessfully tried to convince voters to reject the ballot initiative to legalize cannabis in large part because he was worried about youth smoking too much weed. Well, it's in a decline, and they're not finding more. It has an increase. So Hickenlooper admitted that he was wrong. Good for him. good when somebody admits that they're wrong and justifies it. So it's great. Here's something fucked up. Alabama senator. Women need to prove they're not pregnant to buy medical cannabis.
What?
Yeah. Alabama just is like fucking
Crazy.
blows my mind. First suppositories in the ass, and then the fucking trying to... Man, listen. Still living back in the fucking Stone Age,
So they're
Alabama.
they're gonna do pregnancy tests for every woman that comes into a dispensary.
So Alabama State Senate Larry Stutz, should call him Larry Schmuck, introduced a bill last week that would require women of childbearing age to present proof that they're not pregnant in order to purchase medical cannabis products.
That's such bullshit.
If passed, the bill would amend Alabama's 2021 medical cannabis law by requiring dispensaries to ask women between the ages of 25 and 50 to provide a negative pregnancy test, either from her physician or documentation from a certified medical lab that has been ordered a physician license in Alabama. How fucked up is that? You guys just blow my mind. You're not the people of Alabama. Love you. Talk about your fucking...
Law writers.
Oh, my God. Just fucking brutal.
Stupid.
So the documentation must be dated within 48 hours of purchase before women can buy medical cannabis, and that women who are breastfeeding would also be barred from buying medical cannabis products. Any registered qualified patient who becomes pregnant shall report her pregnancy status to a registered certifying physician and shall be prohibited from obtaining medical cannabis throughout the pregnancy, the legislation say. Emma Roth, a staff attorney of National Advocates for Pregnant Women, told Marijuana Moment that the bill would violate women's rights to privacy and equal protection under the 14th Amendment. Damn right it would. It's another attempt to police pregnancy in the name of the fetus when medical cannabis poses no greater harm than either exposure during pregnancy, Roth said. And where would the state's reach end? Would the negative pregnancy test be required to be around smokers, to drink coffee, or work a factory job? Roth also cited a 2020 scientific report that concludes current evidence does not suggest that prenatal cannabis exposure alone is associated with clinical significant cognitive functioning impairments. So, yeah, the marijuana bill is law now, but if they're going to have this law, we need to set some parameters, Stutz said on a local radio talk show. I think it could be improved, and one of the ways it can be improved is to limit pregnant people using it, limit their availability to it. Pregnant people, that's what he says.
What?
Schmucks. Stutz is a schmuck.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. So, as Jane Austen wrote in Persuasion, I hate to hear you talk about women as if they were fine ladies instead of rational creatures. None of us want to be in calm waters all of our lives. Some of us might not want to be in Alabama either. Yeah, hell yeah. Jeez, that's fucking like living in the Stone Age. A GOP congressman who fought for cannabis legalization dies and is honored by bipartisan colleagues. Representative Don Young, Republican Arkansas, a rare example of pro-legalization Republican congressman who was one of just 5 GOP members in the House of Representatives to vote in favor of a bill to end cannabis prohibition. He died last Friday. God rest your soul. You fought for Arkansas legalization. Good for you. Also... bipartisan congressional lawmakers want Biden to push UN to end international cannabis ban. That's great. But what about here, too? So why don't you do both? That just makes no sense. When I read this, when I read the headline, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So they're trying to get him to... What about here in the United States? Also. Fight for that also. All you... Just, oh, my God. Just doesn't make any fucking sense. It is still Women's History Month, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes, it is.
Right?
It is.
Women in power.
Yep. How about women in weed?
In power.
A guide to the power players. From social justice activists and brand leaders to doctors and authors, here are women who are making serious moves in the cannabis industry. It's March, and while that certainly isn't the only month that we should be recognizing the contributions of women and femme folks in cannabis, it's an awesome excuse to recognize some of the best in the biz. Here are a few women who are doing some seriously cool things in the world of weed. Rue Johnson, owner of Rue Black. Rue Johnson is a consultant, executive producer, and branding operations strategist, as well as the founder and owner of Rue Black Consulting. She also has a background working with hip-hop artists, nightlife, Red Bull, and the National Cannabis Festival, to name a few. Johnson is dedicated to social justice and serves as a board member at Minority Cannabis Business Association. Stigma begets more stigma. So yes, there is a connection between stoner stigma and fat shaming, she explained to High Times in a piece on dismantling social stereotypes in 2021. Both sentiments take away agency and autonomy. We all deserve to do with our bodies what we will and to take care of them the best way we can.
She needs to go to Alabama.
Yeah, with the resources we have. And for many of us, cannabis is a major component to that care. Katie Kine, vice president of the brand Good Chemistry Nurseries, has developed new social media and marketing teams. She works closely with community partners and organizations to magnify the brand's founding principles of access and compassion. In addition to her work with the branding of Good Chemistry, Kine is always exploring opportunities to further expand social contributions and community involvement in ways that are meaningful and authentic. A few years ago, I realized that I wanted to work in the cannabis industry, and I wanted to be a part of a community with a great culture and a clear, forward-thinking mission, she said. Our senior team is diverse, with 50% of us being women. Dr. Rebecca Siegel, clinical psychiatrist and author, she is the author of a newly published book, The Brain on Cannabis, What You Should Know About Recreational and Medical Marijuana, a comprehensive and myth-busting guide on cannabis use and its effects on the brain. More importantly, as a physician who specializes in assessment and treatment of anxiety, mood disorders, and ADHD, with a special focus on issues confronting adolescents and young adult women, the book also addresses how to effectively talk to young people about recreational cannabis use. Kip Morrison, owner of KMA PR. Kip Morrison is changing the way the media and, in effect, the public view cannabis. After more than 35 years in lifestyle PR, she pivoted her firm, KMA, to focusing on the burgeoning cannabis industry, making KMA the first national cannabis PR firm in the United States. She puts brands like Lowell, MedMen, Henry's, and Platinum on the map while navigating tough conversations like Vapegate, taxation, and federal legalization. Her clients include testing labs, scientists, dispensaries, and other players from all layers of cannabis. Then we have Sarah Aziz, founder of Sundazed. If there's anyone who knows how to dream big, it's Sarah Aziz. The Egyptian-American, LA-based entrepreneur is a longtime cannabis advocate and lover of the plant. Aziz entered the male-dominated cannabis industry in 2021 with her flower brand, Sundazed. The line of pre-rolls delves beyond the surface of cute packaging and focuses on the consumer experience. It's been an exciting roller coaster ride, especially given that we are launching during a pandemic, she told High Times. It comes with incredible difficulties to be a woman in such a male-dominated space. The fact that I will be contributing to growing numbers of women executives in cannabis motivates me to continue my mission to create space for and represent our demographic in such a stigmatized industry. So that's some big ladies doing big things in cannabis. Pretty cool. Ladies, opportunity is there. We just have to find it, right?
Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. Could be yours.
Yeah, that's it, Mr. Weedman.
International news. Canadian regulators propose rules changes on cannabis research and public possession limits for cannabis beverages. Interesting. European roundup. Danish adult use pilot. New grower for Dutch trial. Germany science first approach. UK tobacco company ups cannabis stake in Portuguese hemp and cannabis. A joint political initiative for adult-use cannabis pilot schemes has been presented to the Danish parliament. Submitted by 5 political parties, it aims to force the government to start legalization work that will result in the bill that legalizes cannabis. Production would be legalized and take place domestically, and retailers would run by trained staff and realistic pricing in the line with the illicit market, says the proposal. In the neighboring Holland, an 8th company has been selected as an approved cultivator for the 4th-year Dutch recreational cannabis trial. That's interesting. Let's see what else. The wide-ranging interview covered a number of topics in relation to all drugs and addictions. British American Tobacco is to investing a further $6.35 million in orangogram, increasing its stakes in the Canadian cannabis producer to 19.5%. The move bolsters Orangogram's cash position of about $168 million. In 2021, BAT sealed a strategic collaboration via a $220 million investment with that company that I can't pronounce its name right, would focus on research and product development. The Portuguese Portuguese government's new hemp amendments have been condemned as highly harmful to the establishment of the hemp industry in Portugal by trade group Chronicles. The new provisions prohibited the transportation of hemp flower from the farm where they are grown and bans indoor cultivation, report Hemp Today. That's weird. Why? I don't understand. Kanakasa has asked the presidency of the council ministry to either suspend the amendment or to remove altogether references to industrial hemp. That's just weird. Portuguese health and medicine regulatory body in farm has received 97 licensing requests for the activities of growing, manufacturing, importing, exporting cannabis for medicinal purposes, having already licensed 18 companies, reports Canna Reporter. Oh, some good international news there. Germany, too, following 5 years of medical cannabis, Germany is poised to be the adult use capital of Europe. I've been hearing about that for a while. It's still taking them a long time to get that whole shit together. You had two other countries pass you up, Germany. We'll see about that. A couple weeks ago, this came out. I forgot to mention it, but the world's largest cannabis gummy made its debut in Missouri. We talked about the brownie, right? Mm-hmm. A few episodes back.
Right.
This is a gummy. It's 135 fucking pounds.
Oh, my Lord.
Containing an astounding 116,000 milligrams of THC.
The whole steak could get high.
The 2-foot wide sour apple giant.
Jeez.
They wanted to match that brownie that was made in fucking Massachusetts.
Wow.
What the fuck? It's just crazy. This thing is like a big giant green blob. I mean, I would eat it. I would fucking take some of it. 116,000 milligrams of THC, though. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean,
you get a crumb.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, talking about gummies. Mike Tyson, one of the greatest boxers of all time. God, could he knock some fucking people out. I don't know if you all know this. He has a cannabis farm. He's making some gummies. And it's a take off of his fight versus Evander Holyfield when he bit his ear off. Remember that? We were watching that. So he made earlobes with a bite bitten out of the earlobe, the top earlobe where he bit.
Or an ear?
Yeah.
Like a whole ear?
And there's a little bite off the top of the ear.
Oh, my God. Probably sell a shit ton of them.
Oh my God, that's so good. It's kind of funny. I don't know how they taste. I just saw the articles, so I thought it was kind of funny to talk about. Oh my God, it's so fucking crazy. Took some balls. I wonder what Evander Holyfield says about that.
He's got a stake in it.
He should. Or an ear in it. Yeah. Ear on the ground to it.
That's a knee slapper. You're actually slapping your knee.
You said slap, mate. You said Simon Says, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mrs. Weedman, you got anything else to say?
No.
I'm so looking forward to Yuki.
Puppy power.
Oh, you guys will see.
2 weeks we get her?
Yes. You guys and gals in the world will see plenty of pictures of her soon.
Like 10 days.
Yes. She'll be down here doing the podcast with us, sitting on mine and Mrs. Weedman's lap.
Yeah.
Because she's coming with us everywhere.
I can't wait.
Hey, everybody out in the world. We love you out there. Peace be with you all. We love you. Don't forget to check us out. Weedman 420 Chronicles on Instagram. Weedman 420 Pod on Twitter. Say hello to Dot Boy. Weedman 420 Chronicles on TikTok. Weedman 420 Space Chronicles YouTube channel. Check us out. Send us an email. Love you all for doing it. Weedman420chronicles@gmail.com. Big things coming your way. We're going to make some big announcements too coming soon. Get ready to party with Mr. and Mrs. Weedman.
That's right.
We love you all. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.